And eventually I was so healed, right? I was so self-improved. I was so cleansed. I had detoxed so much that I wasn't relatable to anybody, right? And that's why I keep saying, or at least I've said several times, that my healing journey almost destroyed me. And it almost destroyed me because eventually, look, you need the self-healing, the internal work, and then you need the relational work. And I was severely lacking in relational work. So let me paint a picture. When I was 16, I started smoking weed, drinking, and doing psychedelics here and there. I know that's quite a lot. I don't condone any of that, right? 16 to 23 was just a worsening spiral into various forms of addiction, but mostly centered around smoking weed. Honestly, it was mostly centered around that. Drinking, I had drunk maybe a handful of times, way too much, and it wasn't a great look, but that's what happened. So by the time I was 23, I was I was halfway into a long-term relationship. My self-image, I mean, in shambles, wasn't even, it doesn't even do it justice. I mean, there needs to be a new way of describing it. My self-esteem was in the lowest depths of hell, right? At 2023. My living situation was shaky. I was broke. Um, I was in a relationship that I didn't even want to be in, and I knew that I didn't want to be in for several years, but there I was, right? And I'm not going to get into the details of that just out of respect for that person, but it was extremely messy and extremely toxic. At 23, I my life got so bad that I just, it's not that I decided to go sober. I just couldn't purchase the drugs. I couldn't purchase them. And I wasn't in a stable enough living situation where I could even indulge in them safely. So I ended up going sober. And that sobriety lasted me from like 23 to 28. I'm 28 now, right? So that makes it what, 5 years sober? Yeah, about 5 years sober. And from alcohol, I was already like maybe 6 7 years sober, because I stopped drinking at 21. That's how early I began drinking, right? And through that journey, or in the midst of that journey, I had already been 8 years vegan, right? By the time I was 27, I had already been vegan for 8 years. I knew everything about, not everything, right? But in a manner of speaking, about detoxes and what herbs and what supplements to take, which I still make use of that to this day, right? I'm not a vegan currently, but I still make use of that. That my 8 year vegan journey was the most important journey that I had toward understanding my human body, for sure. At least up to date, you know? Yeah. So with that said, it just becomes like it's amazing that it became kind of like a scapegoat. I kept telling myself, no, 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 I'm not healed yet. I'm not healed yet. I'm not healed yet. Year 2 into my sobriety, not healed yet. Year 4, not healed yet. Year 6, not healed yet. Right? All manner of detoxes. I had been lifting weights. By the time I was 27, I had been lifting weights for about 5 years. I was a martial artist also as well throughout that time. And I still lift weights. I'm still a martial artist, right? But I never got to the point where I felt safe enough in my own nervous system to finally go out there and feel exposed in front of other people, because I was so in my healing cave, right? I was so isolated. I had grown so increasingly isolated throughout that journey that it just became like a never ending sort of thing about, you essentially, you'll never be good enough. You'll never be healed enough. You'll never achieve enough to feel like you can finally be in front of somebody, right? That was the gist of it. And It hurt. It hurt, but I kept it up for a long time until now. It's crazy that at 28 years old, I'm just now beginning to scratch the surface of what a social life is, of what the nightlife is, right? And when I moved back to Miami, Florida, which is where I was from. Hey, what's up, 305, right? 305, my bad. There you go. 305. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm not fond of the social life. I'm actually heading to a club now. I'm not fond of it. I don't actually really want to be there. But I have so little experience of it that I'm like, you know what? I'm giving it a handful of chances to see, like, maybe I'll like it. Maybe, I don't know. There's so many people who like it. Maybe I will like it. And I'm just saying all that to say that if you feel like you're in this self-improvement journey, that's great. You're probably too deep to ever stop, right? That's fine. Eventually, you need to come out of that cave, which self-improvement doesn't always involve, you know, being secluded. My self-improvement journey did, though. So if it involves being secluded, I would highly recommend you to do the relational work as well as the internal work, because now I'm playing catch up after several years of isolation, just seeing like how my self-improved self even interacts with people, right? It's kind of strange because part of me still feels like I'm not good enough to be out there, but then the other part of me is like, bro, you're dealing with almost everyone you interact with deals with things that you've already mastered, right? Almost everyone I interact with, at least out in the nightlife, right? You can tell they don't train consistently. They don't care about what they eat. They're not, I wouldn't say they don't come off as very disciplined, right? They come off as very like loosey-goosey. I'll go to sleep on whenever, I'll go whenever, I'll do whenever, talk on whenever, you know, indulge in whatever. Most of these people have never had a martial arts class, and I'm not saying I'm above them. I'm just saying the basic things that I feel humans should be doing, which is exercising, learning how to fight, being disciplined at least to some considerable degree. I wasn't interacting with those people, and because of that, it felt so hard to relate, because I felt like I had to build a bridge into like the lower parts of me, into that version of me that was like that too. And that's pretty much what I'm getting at, is that without the relational work, you will be self-improved in a cave, not really having any context about how far you've come. It's only when you actually start doing the relational work, going out there, I'm talking going out of your way to go out there, right? Like I'm doing. I'm going out of my way. I don't really want to do it, but I know that, you know what, there's an experience there for me. Even if I'm there for half an hour, and go home, fine, right? But one of the most beautiful things about the human experience is being able to commune with people. And I don't want you to starve yourself of this simply because you feel like, I need to wake up at 6 a.m. every day. I need to hustle. I need to grind, which is really just a cover up. It's a cover up for us not feeling like we're good enough to be out there. Now, that's an overgeneralization, right? Some people genuinely do live that life and enjoy that life. I enjoyed that life for a long time. And some people, you know, live that life. They run businesses, they have children, they need to live that life, and they've integrated social life into self-improvement. I wasn't like that. I self-improved in isolation, in a cave, basically, right? In increasing levels of isolation. So that's really the gist of what I'm saying, is that don't allow your endless healing journey, because you're a human, you're always going to have things to improve, always going to have trauma to heal, but don't allow that endless healing journey to stifle the most beautiful aspects about being a human, and that is communing with other humans. By the way, if you resonated with this, I'm a music artist. My name is Simbo Lumen, and right now you're just tuning into the insights, the personal insights, the droplets of light, if you will, that I have to share with you, just because I truly enjoy making these videos for you so that we can all start discussions in the comments. I know that what we're creating now is a safe space. And I've gotten so many comments so far, dozens of comments from people who I didn't even expect to respond and resonate with my videos in that certain way. So I know that I'm not the only one. And listen, I am a music artist, so I will put the link to my EP down below. You could do what you will with that, or you could just feel free to like, share, subscribe, comment. Let's really be together in this space. All right?